When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you face is that your reflection staring back at you. If you don't like what you see, guess what? You've already lost the war before the day even started. But it's not just about liking what you see, it's about feeling something deep inside. Looking in that mirror and saying, man, I'm different today. That reflection. It's not the whole game, it's the energy, the fire you're supposed to feel when you start your day. When you step out of your house, you better feel ready to fight. Not half-ass ready, but I'm about to destroy this shit ready. That comes from working on yourself, grinding in the gym, pounding the pavement, whatever it is that pushes you. Life is all about self-discipline, and most people don't want to hear that. We run to the easy shit, the comfortable shit, but that's how you stay weak. Easy doesn't build shit. It sure as hell doesn't build mental toughness or make you hard. When you work out, when you push your limits, you're building that shit fast. It's in your face every rep, every mile, every second. The discipline you build there bleeds into everything you touch. And when people ask, why are you always grinding? Always working out? Tell them to shut the fuck up and stop thinking so small. This isn't just about muscles or aesthetics. It's about life. It's the foundation for everything. Every single day I wake up to fight the same motherfucker that lives inside me. That voice that whispers, hey man, remember when life kicked your ass. That voice doesn't go away. That weak ass version of me is still in there, always waiting, always trying to creep back in. And every single day I fight that bastard. That's the real battle. That's what this life is about. Challenging yourself, constantly never letting the fire die down. Look, my life is solid now. I've earned this shit. But if I let it get too good, too comfortable, I'm done. I've got to remind myself where these calluses came from, what it felt like to scrape and claw my way out of the hole. If you're sitting there thinking, I'm good where I'm at, you're already slipping. Take yourself back to that time when you were starving for something, when you had no choice but to grind. Stay there mentally. So I'll ask you, what the hell did you do today to get uncomfortable? What did you do to earn your respect, your pride, your damn manhood? Don't sit there feeling all cozy. Get hungry. Everybody's looking for some magic ass formula, asking Goggins, what's the secret, man? Here it is, straight up hard work. That's it. No shortcuts, no hacks. You're going to wake up every day and tell yourself today's going to suck. Then when that day's done, you're going to wake up and say it again, tomorrow's going to suck. And guess what? That's life. But here's the thing, those moments when it sucks the most, when you're deep in the grind, when the pressure is sky high, that's where the gold is. That's when the ideas come, the growth happens. I think back to when I was 300 pounds trying to claw my way out of that mess. Those moments of self-talk, of digging for strength, I didn't even know I had. That's where I became me. You start to build these mantras, man. Every 3 or 4 seconds, a new one pops up in your head, punching you in the gut, telling you who the fuck you are. There's power in that underdog mentality. It's not just some cliche, it's a weapon. Every time I work out, I'm not David Goggins, 44 years old, with all this badass shit I've achieved. Hell no, man. When I hit the grind, I'm that 300-pound loser spraying for cockroaches, struggling to breathe and hating every second of what I've become. Here's the truth, man. The second you think you've made it, you're done. You start coasting, you stop pushing, and all that fire, all that hard shit you went through to get where you are, it's gone. That's why I don't get civilized. Fuck that. Being civilized is for people who've given up on being great. I see these athletes retire and a year later, they're unrecognizable. I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? You were on top of the world, the kind of person everyone looked up to, kids, grown ass men, women, everybody. But then you hit the peak and your mind whispers, you're good now. You've arrived. That's the death sentence right there, becoming civilized. If you were the baddest motherfucker to ever live, that shit doesn't expire. You don't just wake up one day and decide it's over. No, even retired, even when the spotlight's off, you've got to keep showing the fuck up. You've got to set the standard every single day, no matter how good it feels to stay in your comfort zone. Because here's the thing, once you stop, once you settle into that easy ass life, you ain't coming back. That's it. And let me tell you something. People will judge you. They'll see you fall off and say, damn, they used to be great. Don't let that be your story. Be the one who says, yeah, I may be retired, but I'll never stop. Watch me. That's the mentality. People tell me you've arrived, Goggins. No, motherfucker. I'm still climbing. There is no arrival. There's only the grind. People say, man, you're wired different. Damn right I am. I spent my whole life callousing over the weak ass victim mentality I used to have. Why do I keep going? Because if you stop, you lose it, period. You don't stay sharp by sitting on your ass. Stop shooting a gun for a year and you're a shitty shot. Stop running and you lose your endurance. The only way to keep that edge is to challenge yourself every single day. It's not enough to just get there. Making it to the NFL, winning MVP, running at 10K, losing 50 pounds, whatever your goal was, it's not enough. You've got to take that victory and use it as fuel for the next challenge. It's 109 degrees out here, the sun's beating down, and every part of me wants to quit. But guess what? That's the point. It's never enough. Where do I see myself? Simple, I make a plan, lock in on it, and don't let a damn thing knock me off course. I cut out the noise, trim the fat, and only keep the people in my life who actually matter. If you're not on your grind, not trying to go somewhere, I don't want to hear your problems unless you're bringing a solution. I don't have time for excuses, and neither should you. Every single day, I'm asking myself, who the fuck am I? Growing up, I lied through my teeth just to feel accepted. I couldn't even look in the mirror and accept myself, so I made up bullshit stories to get people to like me. But here's the thing, it wasn't until I sat down and read my own sorry-ass story, looked at the truth of my pathetic reality, that I could start changing it. I could have played the blame game forever. My dad was abusive, blame him. He bullied at school, blame those kids. Health problems, poverty, my mom not being around. Blame, blame, blame. And that was the book one kept reading. Everybody else's fault. I carried that shit for years. But let me tell you something, nothing changed until I put the damn book down and said, what the hell is wrong with David Goggins? I had to stop pointing fingers and start fixing the man in the mirror. That's the truth, as brutal and ugly as it is. Yeah, I was scared. Scared of my shadow, scared of failure, scared of being exposed. So I did the only thing I could. I ran toward it. Joined the military, got my ass handed to me daily, did shit I hated, made myself uncomfortable every single day. You're afraid of the mirror. Cool, stand in front of it anyway. I wasn't the smartest kid, not even close. Didn't matter, roger that. I didn't have natural talent. Roger that. The world doesn't care about your excuses, and neither should you. The only way I got here was by facing the truth, head on, no bullshit, no sugarcoating. You want to know how you've got to toughen the fuck up? Grow some thick skin. Learn to be a damn human being who doesn't crumble every time life smacks them in the face. Stop being afraid of your own reflection, because that's the only enemy you need to conquer. But here's the problem. Most people quit the second life gets hard. Somebody criticizes them, says, you fucked this up, and they fall apart. Or they get yelled at and suddenly they're a victim. This generation is soft as hell. That's why it's so easy to be great right now. Because everyone else is weak. If you've got even a shred of mental toughness, a sliver of discipline, you're already ahead of the pack. And don't get it twisted. It's not about loving the grind. I hate running. I hate it with a passion. People ask me, why do you do it if you hate it? Because life doesn't give a fuck about what you like. I don't like taking showers or eating sometimes, but guess what? You do it anyway. That's the point. Life isn't about liking everything you do. It's about doing it because it needs to be done. And once I flipped that switch, I became someone I never thought I could be. When you do the shit, you hate the shit that makes you uncomfortable. That's where greatness lies. On the other side of pain, on the other side of discomfort, that's where you find out who you really are. People think I'm training for races or some record. Nah, man, I'm training for life. I'm callousing my mind, preparing myself for those gut punch moments when the 2 a.m. call comes and tragedy hits. I'm ready because I built a fortress in my mind. I'm out here training my mind, my body, and my spirit to become one unstoppable force, one solid unit that can handle anything life decides to throw my way. Because let me tell you something, the life I've lived. It doesn't just hand you challenges. It fucking unloads on you. Life comes at you swinging. It doesn't stop until you're down. If you're not physically, mentally, and spiritually ready for that, you're going to break. You're going to crumble into pieces. And when that happens, you're not just useless to yourself. You're useless to everybody around you. Look, man, it all starts from a disgusting ass place. A dark, nasty hole where you're not fulfilled, where you're terrified of dying and leaving this world without ever doing a damn thing worth remembering. That fear. That's the one most people run from. They bury it, ignore it, pretend it's not real. But when you're face to face with that shit, when you're scared of being just another nobody, a person who just exists to pay bills and then die, it's impossible to ignore. I had to change how I saw suffering. Instead of whining, I started thinking, all right, this is a test. Let's see what I'm made of. Whenever I felt down, I reminded myself, this is pressure. This is the world seeing if I can take it. So how do you respond to that? You rise or you fold. For a long time, I folded. Yeah, I'd work hard, but the moment shit got really tough, I'd punch out. That weak-ass voice in my head would say, you're not good enough, man. It's just quit. That was my poopy pants mentality, sitting there waiting for the world to hand me a pass. And you know what? It feels good to play the victim. at first. Coming from the darkness, I know how easy it is to stay there. My childhood was fucked up, and I used that as my excuse for years. People would look at me and say, oh, poor David, he's had it rough. He's not real smart and life hasn't been fair. And I leaned into that shit. I almost lost every opportunity I had because I was too busy playing sick, feeling sorry for myself. But here's the thing about that darkness, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's painful, but if you learn to use it, it can drive you. That darkness, it pushed me to places I never thought I could go. It made me who I am. On the flip side, you might come from privilege, from a silver spoon family, and still be sitting on your ass going nowhere. You had every damn opportunity handed to you, and you're still a loser. Meanwhile, I started at the bottom, clawing my way up from nothing. Nobody was coming to save my ass. I was just some insecure, scared-ass kid sitting there feeling sorry for myself. But I'll tell you this, the only way I could find out who the fuck I really was to drag myself through the worst shit possible. Every single morning I'd look in the mirror and I hated what I saw. That weak little punk staring back at me. I didn't want to be that kid anymore. I was going nowhere, scared of everything, and most people in that situation just sit back and wait for someone to rescue them. But you know what the best thing that ever happened to me was? Nobody helped me. Not one single person. Nobody felt sorry for me. Nobody was stepping in to coddle me or tell the world to stop picking on me. Back then, nobody gave a shit. And looking back now, thank God for that. I wasn't about to stay some soft-ass punk kid for the rest of my life. If I wanted to change, I had to suffer. I had to go through the fire and build calluses on my brain brick by brick to become the man I wanted to be. When I looked at myself, I thought this is the weakest motherfucker God ever created. But I didn't blame God. No, I blamed me. And I decided right then that I was going to flip the script. I wanted to be the hardest motherfucker alive. When I was getting bullied, skipping school, and sitting there with zero self-esteem, the goal became clear as day. The only person who could turn my life around was me. There wasn't a shortcut. There wasn't a hack. The only way I was going to change was to throw myself into the hardest shit imaginable. That's how you build a brain that can handle anything life throws at it, through pain, through suffering. That voice in your head, the one that keeps you warm, telling you it's okay to quit, that's the voice holding you back. That's why people hate listening to me. I don't sugarcoat shit. The only way to change is to face the brutal truth. I had to have the guts to drag my ass back into the fight every single day. But that soft voice kept creeping and whispering, you've done enough. Take it easy. You deserve a break. That voice is why I was sitting there 297 pounds of excuses, broke as fucking living a life I hated. You make mistakes on the easy path. That's where it happens, the comfort zone. It's easy to screw up when nothing's on the line. But when you take the hard road, there's no room for that shit. It's too damn hard to repeat those same mistakes. For me, working out became the foundation. It wasn't about looking good or getting fit. It was about mental toughness. Doing the shit I didn't want to do every single day, because that's where the growth happens. Growth lives in that uncomfortable zone, and I visit it every damn day. Look, man, you're out here trying to take the easy fucking way out, convincing yourself you're the king of the mediocre crowd. You walk around saying, I'm great. I'm killing it. But guess what? You're not. You've built a nice little comfort zone surrounded by people who blow smoke up your A and tell you exactly what you want to hear. The second you step into a room with uncommon motherfuckers, you feel uncomfortable. You hate it. Why? Because they challenge your soft A. They don't let you sleep in. Don't let you make excuses. They're the ones banging on your door at 3 a.m. saying, get the fuck up. We're running. And you don't want that. You want the buddy who says, nah, man, it's all good. Let's skip it today. Let's grab some pizza and chill. That shit feels good, doesn't it? Because it's easy. It's familiar. But here's the truth that's fucking mediocrity. That's you trying to be the best of the average. You don't want someone calling you out saying, stop being a little bitch. You want comfort. You want safety. And that's why you stay stuck. People ask me, Goggins, how do you stay hungry? How do you keep going? You want to know why? Because I never stop. I don't climb one mountain, plant my flag, and say, I'm good now, fuck that. You know what happens when you stop pushing? You get weak. You lose your edge. And then you sit there scratching your head wondering, why am I falling apart? It's simple, you got soft. Once you hit the top of one mountain, you build another. That's the difference between uncommon people and everyone else. Most people, they hit one big goal, cash in, and ride the fucking wave into mediocrity. But not me. Every damn day I'm asking what's next. What can I do to suffer more, to grow more, to get stronger? Because on the other side of suffering, there's a world most people never see. It's fucking beautiful out there, but it's hard as hell to get to. I found it during a 100-mile race. At hour 19, I thought I was done. My body was breaking, but my mind opened up. I realized there's a whole other level out there, a place only pain and struggle can take you. And you don't find that place watching Netflix and eating pizza. Most people are drowning in it, bullied, insecure, overweight, stressed the fuck out. You know what I did? I built an indestructible mindset. I armored my fucking brain. So stop whining. Stop looking for shortcuts. Go find that other world, the one waiting on the other side of suffering. Because that's where the real shit happens. That's where you find yourself. It's all about what the fuck you're saying to yourself. And let me tell you, it doesn't stop there. It's not just words, it's fucking work. When I was getting my handed to me, physically, mentally, spiritually, you name it, I'd say to myself, you know what? You can't hurt me. That wasn't some feel-good bullshit. It became a fucking mantra. Can't hurt me was the armor I built around my mind brick by brick every time life tried to break me. That's where it came from. Me refusing to let the world or myself fucking win. Here's the impact I want to make. I want everyone to face who the fuck they really are. Not the Instagram version, not the fake-ass highlight reel. I mean the raw, ugly truth. I want you to be able to take your entire life, every mistake, every regret, every fuck up, and put it out there for the whole world to see. No shame, no excuses. You're not just a victim of life, you're a co-creator of your own mess. Own that shit. All the bad, all the pain, all the mistakes. It's all in the pot stirring together to make you. And guess what? That pot of shit can become the strongest fucking foundation you've ever stood on. This life is one big fucking head game. The world's trying to break you, convince you you're not good enough, make you doubt yourself. But when you flip the script, when you learn to master your own mind, that game stops being a game. It becomes your fucking life. And when you get to that point, nothing can touch you. Here's the thing, life is coming for your ass, whether you're ready or not. Most of you are just coasting through this shit, waking up every day like, let's see what happens. Guess what? Life is going to happen, but it's either going to crush you because your mind is weak or you're going to stand up to it because you've armored yourself for the fight. Most people, man, they attack life unprepared like amateurs stepping into the fucking arena. Let me tell you something. I already know I won't want to work out tomorrow. I can feel it. My body doesn't want it. My mind doesn't want it. So what do? I prepare for that. I don't wait for tomorrow to hit me in the face. I build the mental armor today. Life isn't going to let up, so you better be ready to meet it head on. This morning, I woke up like a bitch. My self-talk was trash. I was telling myself I deserve this. I've earned a break. That's the weak voice, the one that wants to keep you soft, that tells you to take the easy way out. Days off are fine when they're part of the plan. But if you're taking a day off just because your mind is feeling sorry for itself, that's some weak ass shit. And that weak voice, it's loud as fuck telling you to quit, to slow down, to be kind to yourself. But there's another voice in there, the one you're probably ignoring. That's the voice that says, shut the fuck up and get to work. You've got to train that voice, make it louder, make it stronger. And how do you do that? Stop overthinking. Put on your shoes, go run, go lift, go grind. People look at me and say, Goggins, you're crazy. You know what that is? It's a fucking excuse. They say I'm special, that I'm built different, so they don't have to hold themselves to the same standard. That's their get out of jail free card. But let me tell you something, I'm not special. I'm just a guy who found his purpose and fought like hell to get to it. Life isn't complicated, man. People make it complicated. We all have a story. We've all been through some shit. But the problem is when the hard times hit, we forget what we've already overcome. You've got to remind yourself, I've been through hell before, and I came out the other side. When I want to quit, I take 1 second and think about all the shit I've survived. My childhood, the pain, the failures. That wasn't just bad luck. That was my training ground. Life wasn't happening to me. It was happening for me. All that pain was sharpening me into a fucking weapon. So stop looking at your struggles like there's some curse. Flip that shit around and realize it's the reason you're still standing. Friction. That's where growth happens. Most people run the other way as soon as life gets hard. That's why they stay soft. When friction shows up, you lean into it. That's where you level up. Stop asking why me. Start saying, fuck yeah, this is my journey. You don't grow without pain. You don't get stronger without suffering. And when you finally embrace that, that's when you find out who the fuck you really are. When the friction hit, my mind used to go to war with me. It would whisper all that weak ass shit. You're a liar, you're fake, you're not good enough. You can't even fucking read right. Every time life got hard, that voice showed up trying to drag me back into the gutter. But here's the truth, I got tired of that voice running the show. When I hit Hell Week, the worst time of my life, something changed. My eyes and my mind weren't on the same page at first. But then I looked around at these so-called badasses, the toughest motherfuckers on the planet, and I thought these guys don't know what real pain is. I've lived in hell my whole fucking life. I've endured more mental torture than any of you can imagine. You can't hold a fucking candle to me. That's when I flipped the script. Instead of thinking I don't belong here, I started saying maybe I'm the best damn person to ever step foot here. Who else could have come from the absolute bottom, from living in a sewer in their mind, and clawed their way to the top of the mountain with nothing but grit, hard work, and the refusal to quit? Every day I told myself, you're the baddest motherfucker on the planet. And after a while, I started to believe it. Hell Week after Hell Week, I kept showing up. That became my fucking norm. You know why so many people stay stuck? Because mediocrity feels fucking good. It's comfortable. You surround yourself with people who tell you what you want to hear, who hand you the get out of jail free card every time life gets tough. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. That S feels nice, doesn't it? But here's the thing, you don't grow there. You want to grow. You put yourself around people who scare the shit out of you. People who hold you accountable, challenge you, and make you question everything you think you are. That's where the real growth happens, not in your fucking comfort zone. I didn't stop at Hell Week. My body was broken. Bones hurting, everything screaming at me to stop. But I didn't listen. Swimming scared the shit out of me, so what did I do? I lived in the water. I made it my home. Day after day, hour after hour, I got in that pool until I became one with it. Running. Same thing, I sucked at it. But I didn't quit. 1 mile turned into 2, then 3, then 6. I just kept pushing, kept showing up. I failed. Yeah, I had to start over more times than I can count. But that's part of the fucking process. That's the journey. Most people, they fail and say, I'm not good enough. Let me try something else. Fuck that. I told myself I'm going to make myself good enough. That's the difference. So you want to quit. You want to take the easy way out. Go ahead, but if you're serious, if you want to get hard, get better, and find out who you really are, you've got to stop running from the friction. Lean into it. Embrace the pain. And remember this, you don't find out you're good enough. You make yourself good enough. I misunderstood a lot of shit early on, but here's the truth, I made myself good enough. Nobody handed me a damn thing. You know why? Because the most powerful weapon you've got is sitting right between your fucking ears. Your brain, that's it. When you're in the dark, fighting depression, dealing with loss, facing all the hard times, you're fucking alone. Yeah, you might have a shrink to talk to, a buddy to lean on, but guess what? There are 24 hours in a day, and most of those hours is just you and your brain. And let me tell you, your brain is a tricky motherfucker. It'll try to pull you into all kinds of dark places if you let it. If you don't control your mind will own you. And when that happens, you're done, game over. Back then, I didn't know much, but I knew one thing, hard fucking work was the only way forward. That's all I had. That's all I lived by. No shortcuts, no easy days, just grind. I told myself this is going to be a long fucking road. My body was broken, falling apart. But I didn't care. I decided this is my new fucking norm. For most people, normal means comfort. For me, it was suffering. Every damn day. I didn't just step into the pain, I lived in it. Stress fractures, shin splints, duct tape, holding my feet together. It didn't fucking matter. My mind said, if we're not broken, we're not working. This is what we do now. People ask me, how the hell did you run on broken feet? How'd you survive with your body falling apart? Simple. My mind knew the mission. This is what we fucking do. I was in Navy SEAL training. I wasn't just in the fight, I became the fight. I became hell. That wasn't a phase. That wasn't a mindset I borrowed. That was my fucking identity. There was no way out. No escape. I gave myself nothing but the walls of hell to push against. And for that time, I became the devil. I had to, because I was in hell and there's no room for weakness in that place. I didn't just survive Navy SEAL training. I owned it. I became the CEO of my own suffering. I didn't dip a toe in it. I fucking drowned in it. You don't tiptoe around the hard S in life. You immerse yourself in it. The days I couldn't run far enough, that shit haunted me. If I only ran a quarter mile, I'd stew on it for a couple hours, let that failure fucking burn. Then I'd lace up again and hit the road. Same day, half a mile this time. I didn't give myself an out. That voice in my head, it wasn't saying good try. It was screaming, you can do more than this. Get the fuck back out there. If I had to walk, I'd fucking walk. But I wasn't stopping. It wasn't just grinding. It was more than that. Grinding doesn't even cover it. It was pure unrelenting savage work. Just going further and further no matter what. When I couldn't run anymore, I didn't quit. I shifted gears. I'd hop on the bike, hit the pool. If my legs were shot, I'd drag my ass to the gym. Whatever it took to keep moving, I did it. I didn't just work out, I turned it into a fucking obsession. My gym routine was insane. I wasn't there to look pretty or pose for Instagram. I was there to destroy my limits. I started doing these ridiculous volume sets, 200 to 300 reps with lightweight. People would look at me like I was out of my damn mind. Why don't you have any loose skin? They'd ask. Because I worked that shit off. My body didn't have a chance to slack. I was torching calories, building muscle, and going hard every single day. I'd hit the rack, bang out 300 reps, take a breath, and get back on it. Again and again. My only focus was to push myself further than I thought was possible. I became obsessed with it. No excuses, no shortcuts, just all out balls to the wall effort. That's how you fucking win. And I became a fucking practitioner. I was putting in the work and the results. Man, I started smashing through barriers. I had a learning disability. Okay, big fucking deal. I figured that shit out. All the negative crap that was holding me down. I tackled it one thing at a time until I wasn't in that fucking hole anymore. And then I realized I've got to tell people about this. I've got to say, hold up, you can achieve the impossible. You don't need perfect parents, some fancy ass private school, or a 4.0 GPA. What you need, what I talk about in my book, is simple but brutal work ethic. Straight up relentless, no excuses, no bullshit work ethic. You've got to be willing to outwork every motherfucker out there. And that's the part people don't want to hear. That's the part that separates you. But here's the thing, when you're out there grinding, pushing, and chasing massive goals, the people around you, they're going to have shit to say. You can't run 200 miles. You're going to kill yourself. What's wrong with you? And most of those people say that because they can't see themselves doing it. They can't even imagine it. The other reason, a lot of it's jealousy. When you set big ass goals and actually start attacking them, it shines a light on their mediocrity. Look, man, we're all family, right? All of us. Now, every morning I'm up at 4 a.m. training for a 200-mile run. By the time I finish my 30 miles and come home, you're just rolling out of bed. How do you think you're going to feel about yourself? Here's the hard truth when you're an overachiever, when you're pushing past the limits everyone else lies by, you make the mediocre people around you feel like shit. And that includes your mom, your dad, your friends, whoever. They see your grind and it reminds them of what they're not doing. That's why they try to pull you back. They don't want to see you succeed because it means they have to face their own weaknesses. But you can't let that stop you. You've got to rise above all that noise, stay locked in, and keep fucking going. It'd be uncommon. I've been there, man. I'm speaking from experience. When you've got someone around you who's chasing greatness and you're sitting there without that same fire, it's like a fucking mirror in your face. A constant reminder of just how fed up you really are. That's what it is. Anybody in your circle who isn't cheering you on, who isn't saying, man, I'm proud of you, keep getting after it, has a problem. And it ain't with you, it's with themselves. Because you're out there putting in the work, trying to achieve more, and all that does is expose their laziness. You've got to look at those people and call it like it is. Man, you're really fighting a battle with yourself, aren't you? It's not about you. It's about the shit deep in their soul. You know how I figured this out? I looked at my own ugly ass. I saw how I used to treat people who were doing better than me. I didn't hate them for who they were. I hated them because they reminded me of how fucking lazy I was. They made me feel like garbage every single day. And that's the world we live in. Mediocrity is everywhere. Everyone's hunting for the easy way out, comparing themselves to the lowest standard in the room and calling it good enough. You put 10 mediocre people in a room, and if one of them runs half a mile more than the rest, they think they're great. They're the king of mediocrity and they love it. We surround ourselves with people who make us feel good, who tell us exactly what we want to hear. But put yourself around the uncommon ones, the ones who are waking up at 3 a.m., the ones who are hitting the grind while you're still drooling on your pillow, and you'll feel that burn, that uncomfortable gut check burn. And you'll hate it. You'd rather be with the person who says, hey man, let's take the day off. It's cool, bro. Let's grab a pizza and chill. That's the shit we love. We love the comfort. We love staying warm and cozy in our own bullshit. Why? Because mediocrity is easier. It's safe. It doesn't ask anything from you. And here's the truth. We want to be the best amongst the average. That's what most people settle for. But me, fuck that. I don't settle. People ask, how do you stay hungry all the time? Because I don't stop. Most guys hit a goal, graduate buds, get that promotion, make some money, and then they chill. They lose their edge and sit there wondering what's wrong with me. Why do I feel weak? Here's why you climbed one mountain and stopped. You hit the peak and said, I'm good. But life isn't about one mountain. It's about building a fucking range. The second you sit back and get comfortable, you've already started sliding downhill. You don't want to be that one-timer with the nice resume guy who had one big moment and now lives off that story. Don't be that person. You're fucking mediocre right now, man. What the hell are you doing today, tomorrow, the next day? That's the problem. People talk all this shit, but they don't want to live it. That's why I don't listen to theorists. I listen to people who are in the trenches, fighting the battle every single day. You want to know who I listen to? The person who says, man, what's wrong? Man, I'm fucking tired, dude. Why are you tired? Because tomorrow I've got to get up and do the same shit that broke me today. That made me puke. That made me hurt. I've got to face it all over again. There's no finish line for that person. No celebration. No, I've made it. That's the kind of person who's worth listening to because they know. They've gained knowledge, not from books, not from theories, but from suffering. Suffering, man, is the ticket to a whole other world. On the other side of that pain, that misery, that grinding is a place very few people have ever seen. And let me tell you, it's beautiful. Not because it's easy. Hell no, it's beautiful because that's where you meet you. The real you. You don't find yourself on the couch. You don't find yourself in comfort. You find yourself in the depths on the other side of suffering. Like that 100-mile race I did. I ran for 24 hours straight, and somewhere around hour 19, I hit the wall. And then I broke through it. And on the other side of that, I found a whole new world I didn't even know existed. But here's the thing, that world, it's all in your mind. It's not out there. It's in here. And mediocrity, that shit is contagious. It spreads like a disease. This ain't about being civilized. Civilization is a death sentence for the soul. People love being civilized because it's fucking comfortable. Look at these athletes who retire. They're 38, 39, and they've been at the top of their game for decades. Then they say, I'm done. I'm chilling now. Fast forward a year and look at them. What the hell happened to you, dude? You were one of the greatest of all time. Kids looked up to you, adults looked up to you, and now you've fallen apart because you let yourself get civilized. The worst thing that can happen to any human being is they become civilized. That's when the fight is over. That's when you stop growing. You start dying the moment you let yourself get comfortable. But here's the difference. People love to slap a label on me. Oh, Goggins, you're wired different. Nah, man, I'm not wired different. I'm just thinking ahead. While they're dreaming about comfort, I'm already planning for tomorrow. Right now, after this, I got to go stretch for 2.5 hours. I fucking hate it. Every second of it. But guess what? I do it anyway. Why? Because every single time I push through, I'm callousing over that victim mentality that used to own me. This isn't a one-time deal, man. Every single day you've got to show up. Because when you stop, you don't just stay the same. You decline. You get weak. You get soft. Think of it like shooting a gun. You don't just pick it up after a year and expect to be sharp. You got to keep firing. Keep drilling. Keep improving. That machine you needs oiling every damn day. Listen here. I'm not just going to let you know I'm doing it. You're going to feel it. You might not see me coming. I might not even be in your damn face, but trust me, you'll know. Maybe I'll be out running across the whole goddamn planet. And then one day you'll turn on the news, scratch your head and say, what the fuck? How the hell did he pull that off? That's how you'll know. Because I'm not here to blend in. I'm here to fucking announce myself. Every time I drop a massive amount of weight, every time I get closer to my goal, I pick up that phone call, that recruiter, and say, hey man, I'm still fucking here. Every single time. Because it's not just about me anymore. That dude, he went from doubting me to believing in me. I became the spark in his life. And guess what? That only fueled me more. Those 3 months, pure hell, man. Packed with failures, doubt, depression, and enough setbacks to break most people. But you know what? That shit didn't break me. It built me. In those 3 months, I lived a goddamn lifetime. I learned that if I could flip my insecurities, if I could take all that fear, that self-doubt, all that baggage weighing me down and weaponize it, I could become unstoppable. You see, I used to look at everyone like they were light years ahead of me. Everyone seemed untouchable. And I was just a guy in the sewer at the bottom of the barrel. But then I realized something. When you're at rock bottom, you've got nothing to lose. And when you've got nothing, that's where the real strength is. You start pulling energy from places no one even thinks to look, from every molecule, from every dark corner of this earth. I learned to thrive in the void, man. No motivation, no inspiration. Doesn't fucking matter. I find it. I create it. And then I invented something that changed the game, taking souls. When I'm at my weakest, when I'm broken, tired, and fucking spent, guess what? That's when I get dangerous. I look around and I see everyone else just as broken, just as tired, maybe even worse. That's my moment. That's when I say, all right, motherfuckers, now it's my turn. Because that's the perfect time to send a message. To let everyone know where you stop, I start. And when I take their souls, I don't just outwork them. I make them question everything. I take their doubts, their pain, their fucking excuses, and I leave them with nothing. Because the truth is, I came from the bottom. I wasn't supposed to be here. But now, amongst all these so-called uncommon people, I'm the one making them feel like they're just another face in the crowd. That's the statement. Your limits mean nothing to me. So go ahead, doubt me, ignore me, bet against me. Just know this, one way or another, you're going to see me rise. And when you do, you'll wish you had kept up. I took their sadness, their weakness, their excuses, those moments where life kicked their ass and they're sitting there like, oh God, this sucks. I'm all poopy pants and fucked up. You know what I did with that? I turned that shit into my fuel. Look, man, we're out there in the sand running like demons are chasing us. Everyone's gassed out, ready to quit, but not me. I dig deep, push harder, surge past everyone. And they're looking at me like, what the fuck? How is he still going? That look, man, that look, it's like pouring gasoline on my fire. It drives me. It takes me further, faster, and harder than they can even comprehend. Energy is everywhere, man. But here's the thing, that voice in your head, the one screaming, stop, this hurts, I can't do this anymore. That voice is fucking loud. Pain, suffering, discomfort, they all gang up on you trying to break you. That voice wants you to quit. It's screaming, we're done. But here's the thing, you've got to calm that chaos down. You've got to tell yourself, wait a second, hang the fuck on. Because in that moment when everything in you wants to quit, there's a strength waiting for you, if you're patient enough to find it. I had to learn this shit the hard way. Every weakness, every flaw, I didn't run from them, hell no, man. I sat down and made each one my fucking mission. I had a severe learning disability, couldn't read for S, and I knew I couldn't learn like everyone else. So I asked myself, how am I going to figure this out? I didn't cry about it. I strategized. I broke that shit down piece by piece. You've got to take that first step. Maybe for you, it's getting smarter, stronger, or tougher. For me, it was becoming intelligent. I had to level up, and I wasn't going to let anyone tell me I couldn't. This isn't about excuses. It's about taking what's broken and turning it into your damn superpower. That's the difference. That's the mindset. Get after it. Man, I knew I wasn't smart. I wasn't blessed with some photographic memory, but I was blessed with the will to suffer. So I got that book 18 months before dive school, knowing full well that it might take me the entire 18 months to grind through it. And when I finally showed up, I wasn't hoping I'd pass. I knew I'd pass because I'd bled for it. I'd written those goddamn pages so many times that when a question came up, my brain said page 71, motherfucker. That's what preparation looks like. But here's the thing. This isn't just about manuals or studying. This is about life. You don't conquer life by trying to fix all your shit at once. You take one problem, break it into tiny bite-sized chunks, and destroy each piece one by one. Stop whining about the mountain. Focus on the next step, then the next. And let me tell you this, most people are fucking lost because they never take the time to figure out what the hell they actually want. We've got distractions coming at us from every angle, phones, TV, social media, and we're addicted to it. You've got to unplug from all that garbage. Sit alone in a room, no distractions, and face the shit you've been running from. Think about what you really want, where you want to be, and what it's going to take to get there. That's not easy, it's fucking painful. But pain is the price of clarity. The military taught me a lot, but I didn't want to be known by some damn title, SEAL, Ranger, Ultra Runner, whatever. Those are just things I did. I wanted to be known as David fucking Goggins, a guy who refused to be boxed in. I'm 44 now. And guess what? There's still more to do because I'm willing to suffer for it. And when you link your mind and body together, when you decide that nothing will stop you, you become unstoppable. And there was a moment in my life that changed everything. 30 miles of pure hell. My body was wrecked. My mind was screaming to quit and I felt like death. But I didn't stop. I broke that shit into tiny pieces. Stand up, take a step, drink some water, take another step. I wasn't thinking about motivation because motivation is a weak-ass excuse to quit when things get tough. I was driven. When you're driven, there's no plan B. You destroy whatever's in your way. That race wasn't about proving something to others. It was about proving something to myself. It was me versus me, and I took it personally. You need to take your life personally. Break it down, fight for it, and don't stop until you fucking earned it. So there I was breaking shit down one painful step at a time. First, I managed to fucking stand up. That alone felt like climbing a mountain. Then I was hobbling around with my wife at the time, and she looks at me dead serious and says, "You're not gonna make the time. You're walking 30-something minute miles." That shit hit me like a brick to the face. But instead of folding, something lit up inside me. I'd already made it to mile 81. And in that moment, I told myself, fuck this, fuck the pain, and fuck anyone who thinks I can't do it. I took off running nonstop, the last 19 miles, straight through the fire. Now, some people hear this and say, this guy's crazy, he's sadistic, he loves suffering. Nah, motherfucker. You don't get it. If you knew where I came from, if you knew how broken and scared I was as a kid, you see this for what it is. I wasn't born strong, I built this. I found the drive, I found the passion. I decided I wasn't going to let my past define me. I wasn't going to be the scared, weak-ass kid I grew up as. I was going to become something bigger, better, something that I could look at in the mirror and be proud of. Let me tell you something, at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning, I was out there running while the rest of the world was cozy in their beds. Why? Because I was grinding. Every step was a reminder that comfort is the enemy. You want to know why so many people never achieve shit? Because they're stuck in average. Some of you don't even realize that you've been average for so fucking long that you think that's just life. But let me tell you something, there's someone out there right now hungry as hell who wants what you have. They want your job, they want your spot. Hell, they even want your wife. And if that doesn't fire you the fuck up, I don't know what will. Use that. Let it burn in you. I hate running. Always have. I was 300 fucking pounds twice in my life. And every day I stare at my shoes, my shirt, my shorts all laid out. Some days I just look at them for hours trying to find a reason to move. But you know what? I do move. Because it's not about me anymore. I've got millions of people watching, waiting, and listening. It's about all of them. It's about being an example to anyone out there who needs to see what relentless looks like. It's about proving to the doubters, hell proving to myself, that I can still show up and deliver every single day. This isn't a hobby. This isn't a phase. This is a fucking lifestyle. And I'll tell you this, if you're the type of person who hits one goal and then spends years celebrating it, don't sit there wondering why you feel stuck, why you've lost your drive. It's because you're living in a past victory instead of setting up the next fight. You need obstacles, you need friction. Without it, you're just coasting, and coasting gets you nowhere. Growth comes from the grind, from the pain, the discomfort, the suffering. And if you're not willing to suffer every damn day, then don't expect to grow. On your worst days, when everything in you says to quit, that's when you show the fuck up. That's when you prove to yourself and the world that you're not normal. You cannot think with a normal mindset. You cannot be normal. Normal is the enemy. Man, my biggest advice to anyone out there is this: live inside your goddamn self. For the rest of your life, stop giving a single fuck about the noise. All these insecure ass people projecting their bullshit onto you. Flush that shit out. Every last drop of it. You've got to own who the hell you are. I don't care if you believe in God, Buddhist science, or just your damn self. It doesn't matter. Whatever you believe, you've got to take all the bullshit society throws at you and burn it to the fucking ground. Because there's only one thing you can rely on: you. You're not going to find greatness by flipping through some book or listening to some motivational speech, not even from me. I might light the fire, but it's up to you to feed it. And that means doing the hard shit. Getting quiet, going into that dark room, shutting the fuck up and listening to your own soul. You've got to dig through all the layers of bullshit to find the answer. Ask yourself, why the hell am I here? Why am I on this earth? What's my purpose? If you don't find that answer, you're going to spend your whole damn life lost wandering and always asking why. Man, I'm the happiest motherfucker on this planet. And I don't mean I'm walking around grinning like some clown. People hear my intensity and think I'm some pissed off, miserable dude. You're dead fucking wrong. I've been through hell. I stared the darkness in the face and didn't back down, and that's what brought me to this point. I don't need to smile for you to know I'm good. I'm not blessed with crazy talent. I'm not a naturally gifted anything. What got me here, what got me through the shit most people would run from, was the dark side. That's the part of you no one wants to talk about. The part that thrives on the pain, the struggle, the relentless grind. You tap into that and you'll find out who the fuck you really are. Goggins isn't just a guy who survives. Goggins dominates. You throw anything in front of me and I'll eat it alive. Pain, suffering. That shit doesn't scare me. I've trained myself to go to a dark place, a place most people are too weak to even imagine. In that place, I take all the pain, all the bullshit you try to dump on me, and I flip it. I reverse it. And then I take your fucking soul. When I was in Buds, every single instructor who tried to break me, every single one, I wanted them to go home at night and think about me. I wanted them to sit in their warm, cozy beds next to their wives eating their nice meals and feel worse than I did. Because while they were relaxing, I was still out there in the grip grinding through another 100 hours of hell. I wanted them to remember that while they were counting down the minutes to the end of their day, I was thriving in the pain. I wanted them to think back to their own hell week, to the moments they wanted to quit, and know I wasn't thinking like that. Not for a second. I wasn't just surviving, I was smiling through it. That's the difference. That's the dark side. It's a place I built brick by painful brick. It's where I store all the hurt, all the negativity, and I use it as fucking fuel. You think you're breaking me? Hell no. You're just giving me more power. That kryptonite you're throwing at me, I turn that shit into ammo. You'll never break me because I've already flipped your negativity into my strength. And here's the thing, people think my hard childhood made me who I am. They say, Goggins, I didn't have a dad who beat me. I didn't stutter, I wasn't bullied. How can I get hard like you? Let me tell you something, those things didn't make me hard, I did. I made a choice. I decided that no matter what life threw at me, I'd find strength in it. Hardship doesn't make you hard. Discipline does. And not just any discipline, self-discipline. Self-discipline means no one is there to help you. No one is cheering you on. It's just you versus you. That's where the calluses on your mind are built. Not by living a hard life, but by doing the things that make you uncomfortable every single day. There's always a barrier in your mind. A blockade telling you to stop, to quit, to stay soft. You've got to find the tool, the fire, the grit to break through that barrier. Nobody can do it for you. You've got to choose to do it for yourself. That's how you get hard. That's how you take your soul back. Look, man, for most of my life, I didn't feel good about shit. I didn't feel good for me. Anytime I achieved something, that demon would come crawling back out of the cage, dragging me right back to square one. It was a cycle of self-doubt, shame, and pain. But here's the thing, you've got to figure out your demon. You've got to go back to the source, to the origin of all the shit that's been fucking you up mentally. You can't move forward until you go backward and face it head on. Everything I've done, everything in my book, every damn accomplishment was done on my own. Nobody handed me shit. Nobody held my hand. Nobody came to save me. And that's why I live the way I do. I don't drink, I don't party. My regimen is simple and relentless. I wake up, eat oatmeal, run, come back, hit the weights, and stay locked in. I'm a sports guy, sure, but I'm not out there wasting time. I stick to my grind. At night, I keep my circle tight. I've got a small group of people I trust, people who are honest, loyal, and true. People who die for me and I die for them. That's it. Everyone else, fuck it. Man, I don't judge, I don't criticize. You want to be a douchebag, fine. You want to hate this country, go ahead. I fought for your right to do you. And while you're out there doing, you just know I'm over here doing me. And I'll keep doing me until the day I die. Believe that shit, man. A lot of people think they're entitled just because they exist. Nah, man. You've got to fucking earn it. You've got to live through the grind, through the suffering, through the pain. When I decided to become a Navy SEAL, I was still over 200 pounds. I had weight to lose, miles to run, and mountains to climb. I wasn't betting on anyone else. I was betting on me. It was like going to the craps table with my last $1,000. I pushed all my chips on David Goggins, saying, this is it. I'm all in. If I failed, I was broke. But if I won, I'd rewrite my whole fucking story. And guess what? I fucking won. Man, I put my whole fucking life on the line. A guy who was scared shitless of water, a guy who came from absolutely nothing. I bet everything on David Goggins becoming a Navy SEAL. A fucking Navy SEAL. I look back now and I realize I didn't just do some shit. I did all this shit. I tore my body, my mind, my relationships apart just to give myself the chance to succeed. That's the part people don't understand. People see the end result, the medals, the accomplishments, the stories. But what they don't see, the sacrifices, the nights I stayed up crying, the mornings I didn't want to get out of bed, but fucking did. The relationships I burned because I knew I had to put everything on the line to climb out of the hole I was in. Because here's the truth, if I didn't become somebody in this world, I knew I was no good for anybody, not my family, not my friends, not even myself. When you're in that deep hole, man, you attract people who are down there, man. Those are your so-called friends, the ones who are just as broken, just as lost as you are. They'll hold your hand and tell you it's okay, man. Stay here with us. We're all fucked up together. But the second you try to claw your way out, the second you decide to be better, those same people will be the first to remind you of who you used to be. They'll come out of the woodwork like fucking roaches. Hey man, remember when you were just like us? You think you're better than us now. You can't let that noise drag you back. You've got to fucking break free. And that's hard, man, because when you come from nothing, when you come from a place most people are scared to even talk about, all you want is to be somebody. You're starving for it. You're desperate to prove to yourself in the world that you're more than what you came from. To do that, you've got to create space. You've got to let your mind open up. You've got to leave the place you came from, physically, mentally, emotionally, and give yourself the chance to see the world differently. Open-mindedness isn't some magical gift. It's a fucking war you have to fight every single day. You've got to step outside your comfort zone, push past your fears, and make room for the life you're trying to build. That's how you grow. That's how you become somebody. I'm a natural born fat ass. That's who the fuck I am. I was lazy as hell. A guy who'd sit on the couch, watch TV, and crush an entire pizza without a second thought. That was me. And you know what I crave more than anything? That mama voice. Please love David. Love David. That shit got me to 297 pounds. When I got out of the military and started packing on the weight, my breakfast was a goddamn buffet. 8 cinnamon rolls, 6 to 8 scrambled eggs, half a pound of bacon, Fruity Pebbles, Lucky Charms, whatever sugary bullshit I could find. That was my standard breakfast. Food and comfort. Those were my drugs. I gave into whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and it pulled me further and further away from the man I knew I was supposed to be. Your true self. That person is not found in comfort. Your true self lives in that dark, uncomfortable place you're too scared to go. And for years, I ignored the voice in my head that told me that. That voice that kept whispering, "You're wasting your life, motherfucker." A lot of us hear it, but we drown it out with distractions, TV, food, bullshit. I heard it loud and clear, but I didn't want to face it. I knew I could be better. I knew I could pull off something incredible if I just tried. But I was scared of the work. I wasn't smart. I wasn't talented. I wasn't a natural athlete. I wasn't anything special. To even try to stand on the same playing field as the men I admired, I had to work harder than I could even imagine. I didn't want to fucking do it. So I didn't. But that voice wouldn't shut up. It kept saying you're going to die without even trying to reach your potential. And how the hell are you going to feel then? Yeah, it hit me like a sledgehammer. I thought about dying, about standing in front of God or whatever higher power exists and hearing him say, "David, you didn't even try." I knew I'd be haunted. I imagined my soul stuck in a personal hell for eternity because I was too much of a coward to step up. So I made a decision I'm going to live even after I'm dead. Whatever memories I take with me to the other side, I want to look back and know I left it all on the table. That I didn't sit around comfortable and useless wasting my life. Because comfort is the biggest fucking sin. But I wasn't there yet. I lived in my own fake ass reality. We all do it right. We obsess over what we don't have and we miss the beauty of what we do have. I was the king of that shit. I focused on every bad thing in my life and ignored the possibilities waiting for me if I just put in the work. At 297 pounds, I thought, this is it. This is my life. But then I visualized myself dead standing in heaven. God pulls out this paper and it says, David Goggins. I look at it and it's a list of everything I could have been, everything I was supposed to achieve, all the potential I pissed away because I was too fucking weak to get off the couch. That vision haunted me. So I got up. I got uncomfortable and I started to work. Because if there's one thing I refuse to do, it's leave this world without finding out just how far I can fucking go. I'm standing there staring at this list: 185 pounds, Navy SEAL, change people's lives, motivational speaker, best-selling author. All this badass shit. And I'm looking at it like, damn, that's a hell of a life. But then I look closer and I'm like, wait, that's supposed to be me. My name's on it. What the fuck? I look at God and say, this ain't me. And God's like, yeah, no shit, David, it should have been you. But you didn't even fucking try. Right there, I'm thinking, am I in heaven or am I in hell? Because this sure feels like hell, seeing the life I could have had and realizing I didn't live it. Why? Because I was too weak, too soft, too scared to give everything I had. Instead, I was a 300-pound fat ass making $1,000 a month. Living like that was enough. And I was okay with it. That's the part that kills me. I settled for being a nobody because it was easy. But deep down, something clicked. My mind was like, where the fuck is this going to take me? What's the possibility? I could see it. I could feel it. I pictured myself in those dress whites, standing tall with those men graduating SEAL training. And man, it felt fucking incredible. In my mind. At 297 pounds, I wasn't even close to doing what those guys could do. But I let myself dream. I told myself I could feel that just for a second it would change my life. So I started visualizing. I put myself there walking across that stage getting that certificate. And I asked myself what's next. But back then I wasn't ready. My mind was too weak. Every time life got hard, I fucking quit. Reading was hard, so I quit. Writing. Quit that too. If I wasn't good at something right away, I walked away every damn time. But this time something was different. I didn't want to quit. I wanted to finish. I wanted to know what it felt like to cross that line. Not to win, fuck winning. I just wanted to finish. I realized victory wasn't about beating anyone else. It was about beating the weak-ass version of myself. It was about putting every ounce of myself into something and not backing down no matter how fucking hard it got. I wanted to feel that. I wanted to change my life. And I knew deep down that if I could just do it once, it would never be the same. The best fucking feeling I ever had wasn't about the glory of the SEAL training or being the 23rd guy in the chair. It came when I was by myself trying to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. No one was watching. No one gave a shit. It was just me versus me. I started feeling victory the moment I stepped into the fight. It wasn't about the end goal. It wasn't even about losing the 106 pounds. It was about putting myself in the battle every single day, setting impossible goals, chipping away at them, and growing stronger just by being in the fight. Losing 5 pounds, that was a win. 10 pounds, another win. 50 pounds. Now I was fucking rolling. Each pound I lost, I gained something more important than weight loss confidence. With every step, I realized these motherfuckers out there can't do what I'm doing right now. I had no coach, no trainer, no money, no plan, no clue how to lose weight. But I had one thing: work ethic. I was willing to sacrifice everything. I was willing to suffer. And through that suffering, I discovered tools. Tools that were hidden inside me, tools I never would have found if I hadn't forced myself into the most uncomfortable, miserable place imaginable. Here's the truth: everyone wants to be tough, but they're looking for it in all the wrong fucking places. You don't find toughness in comfort. You find it when you throw yourself into the deep end where you're completely out of your depth, when you're drowning, gasping for air and there's no way out. When you're drowning, your mind has 2 choices: quit or fight. Most people quit. And when you quit, your mind shuts down and says, we're done. It doesn't grow. But if you stay in the fight, if you say this fucking sucks, I'm drowning, I'm broken, I'm suffering, but I'm not quitting, that's when your mind starts to expand. That's when it says, shit, he's not giving up. We've got to figure this out. And that's where the growth happens. That's where you find out what you're made of. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. When you think you're done, you've only hit 40%. There's so much more in the tank, but you'll never tap into it if you quit. You have to force your brain to operate on a higher level. And the more you stay in that suffering, the more that higher level becomes your new normal. That's how you fucking grow. By staying in the pain, by refusing to quit, and by turning your weakness into strength one goddamn day at a time. Stay hard.